Whew, that's a good climb. Really windy today. Really windy to the point I need goggles. Pretty windy. So I'm going for a hike. Well, snowshoeing. Told you I'd take you along, and some of these other adventures. Not skiing today. Decided to go snowshoeing instead. And I take you along my snowshoeing adventures, not so much my skiing. This is a beautiful area here. Oh, it's gonna start. I see the snow's coming. It's gonna get windy. I'm gonna try to find a spot where we can sit and chat. Eagle's Nest Wilderness is what this one's called. I've been here a few times. It's in Summit County. It's right next to where all the ski resorts are. So I can ski one day and snowshoe the next. I really like this area, and I know it really well. Better than I know the area of Spirit Forest, actually. Okay, I'm gonna keep going because I'm kind of out in this big area, so it's really windy. Hopefully I can chat with you. I brought my mic too. Like I was saying, this sign, normally my head would be down to here. Look at this. Look how tall I am. Woo! That's a lot of snow. Hello and welcome to Spirit Forest. We are snowshoeing today, as you know, and I decided that today I would talk about snowshoes because I don't think I've talked about snowshoes in any of my videos, so let's talk about snowshoes. So I got some new snowshoes here. If you can tell, you can see there's some new snowshoes. I'm going to talk about these. I'm also going to talk about my friend's snowshoes. I'm going to talk about the difference between the two of them and what to look for when you want to buy snowshoes. One of the first things I look into when I'm buying snowshoes is that I look to see how light it is. You don't think it's a big deal, but it's truly a big deal. My other snowshoes were heavier than these, and I can see that I'm not getting as worn out as I was in those other snowshoes. So make sure that you're using some lightweight snowshoes. You know, picture yourself with a couple weights on your feet and walking around. That's what it's like hiking around in snowshoes. So you really want to have the lightest snowshoes you can. Also, the second thing that I look at here too is the buckles and the type of buckles, and I'm going to go over that when my friend takes off his snowshoes. I'm going to compare the two buckles together. Okay, I'm going to quickly take these off. The good thing about these buckles right here, because I'm just going to show you right now, is that it's really easy to be able to take them off. I just pull on it. And I have 3 straps. And then kind of move my foot around a little bit and I can take them off. So really easy to take off. Let me show you a little close-up of what these look like. Did you see my, here's a close-up to kind of what they look like. And then what you do is that you would just wrap them around that opening. You'd pull hard and then you make it go through that little metal part. You got to pull really hard with these. Okay, there we go. Now you can actually see me. I realized that I was wearing my goggles that whole time. When it gets really windy out here in the snow, you really want to have goggles or else the snow gets up in your eyes and your glasses fog up a bit. Okay, I want to show you the difference between the two buckles, as I think buckles are a big deal. It's where you get most frustrated with, is the buckle on the snowshoe. Again, I just showed mine, but I had my friend take off his snowshoes. You could see his has these like quick release, and you can kind of you could do this to tighten them. So you're just pulling them like this and you can tighten them. You really don't have to use a lot of your hands outside your gloves to tighten them. You could just stick your boot in here and you can slide your boot out pretty fast. For the back part, he has this like a heel. This is for this heel. You would need to probably take off your gloves in most cases to take those off. These are the preferred type of buckle that I like. I do have these other ones. Again, these take a little bit longer to get into, a little bit more complicated. And these are a little bit more of a quick release. I think these work well to get out of the snowshoe fast, where this one takes a little bit longer to get out of, but a lot easier to get in them. Okay, so here on the snowshoe, you can see how the toe moves. I'm going to show you the other snowshoe as well. They're very similar. This one's a little bit easier to move. That one's a little bit harder, actually. What I noticed in these kind, and I don't really know the huge difference between the two. Here we go. I got both the logos down there too, if you wanted to do some research on them. These slide on the ground. So as I'm walking, they slide on the ground, where these kind of pop up a little bit. They kind of pop up. One of the things I really wanted to emphasize, and the reason why I really needed some new snowshoes, was I had some snowshoes that looked like these. They were smaller, but they kept popping up, and as they pop up, and I'm going to show you some video here, you'll see that the snow pops up on the back of your leg. I got to the point where the back of my leg was drenched, because you end up getting really hot when you're snowshoeing, and so my back of my leg was drenched. I could wring them out by the time I got back to my car. Whereas these over here, these just basically slide. These are MSRs, and they slide onto the snow. The majority of the people that I've seen today that have been snowshoeing, I've seen them use more of these MSRs. For those of you that think you don't need snowshoes and you see that the trail's nicely packed, you see it in my camera that it looks nicely packed. It's not, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to keep one snowshoe on, I'm going to have one snowshoe off, and I'm going to walk around and you can see what the difference is. Yeah, on the trail itself, it is a bit packed, but there are times where you actually fall through on the trail. I'm going to go on the trail a little bit. We're going to go off the trail just a slight bit, and let's see what happens. Okay, so now I'm on the trail. You can see that this does not fall through as much. And I'm going to get off the trail a little bit. I don't know, you see how my foot just sank a little? I go off the trail a little bit. you could see that it's a lot easier with my snowshoe where my, ugh. Thank God for strong legs. I'll try it again. Oh, let me go further away. Okay. Again, I'm on the trail. I'm just showing you a different paths to take and how important snowshoes are, especially when you're out here in the wilderness and you get lost and you get off trail. This is what it would be like without snowshoes. Don't have snowshoes here. I have snowshoes here. However, this is my stronger leg, so it would have been better to put snowshoe here. But okay, so I'm gonna walk through here and you'll see what the difference is. Okay, I'm gonna walk back now. Yeah, that would be a really tough day if you don't have snowshoes and you're lost. Because just there, I'm a little worn out. I want to do the same thing, but I'm going to do it with both my snowshoes so you get an idea. Okay, I'm going to attempt this. I'm in a different area. We had some hikers come by us and I wanted to just go to a different area. So now I'm actually I'm higher up. We hiked up a mountain a little bit, but you'll see that my snowshoes are keeping me on top of the ground. This is nice. Still sinking a little, but these aren't that big. These snowshoes aren't that big, so I'm pretty impressed with them. It still would be a pretty hard feat to just keep hiking like this because I'm sinking about a foot every time I go down. If you get a really big snowshoe, you won't sink as much. But for what I do snowshoeing for, this is perfect. So I really enjoy this. These snowshoes, these are really nice. Okay, one of the things I wanted to mention too, the difference between mine and my friends is that I have this sidebar here that adds extra traction because now we're actually heading up the hill. If you can point the camera downhill so they could see the climb that we just did. So he was noticing that he was slipping a lot where I wasn't slipping that much. So every step he was taking, it was a little bit more effort than me. That's why I'm beating you. So I really like these, I really do. So that's all I want to talk about with the snowshoes. So the things you want to look at is how much they weigh. You want to look at the buckles. I think buckles is a big deal for me because it's the most frustrating point of the snowshoe. You want to see if it glides too. And from what we're learning too, is having those little edges on there as you're climbing up. Okay, so we're gonna head up the mountain a little bit more. I'm gonna film some more for you because it is really pretty. I'm hoping we get to see a more of a mountain view. We're kind of in the trees, which is good because it's not as windy. But if I get a mountain view for you, I'm gonna film that for you. But there is something else that I want to talk about. But I'm gonna see if we can get in a little bit more, and then I'll talk about that. I'm getting situated so I can talk to you. I always forget the name of things. If you know my channel, you know I forget names of things. I know what they are though. When in a survival situation, you can find really good shelter inside these little tree wells. I think that's what you call them. Because of all these leaves, it creates this well down here. Do you want to show them the well? It's a really nice little shelter that you can stay in overnight if you need to. You get a lot of protection around you. You would take some of these tree branches from other trees and create yourself a shelter, and it works really fast. It's a fast way to do a shelter. But I do want to mention that they're also very dangerous too. As you're hiking or skiing, and there's some times that you don't know that that's there, or sometimes it's even further out from the tree and you don't realize it. This is kind of more of a baby tree here, but we got some big trees here in Colorado, and you can fall in them, and they're really hard to get out of. So as you're hiking around, you want to make sure you hike around the really big trees too, because you don't want to fall in that. In fact, I have a story that happened just this year. It's a sad story, and I'll link to the story in my description if you want to know more detail on it. As I read the article, I think it was like maybe a week ago or something like that. I read this article, but this guy was skiing in the backcountry, and he was coming through, the trees like this, and there was this little opening, and he ended up falling inside of it. And he wasn't able to get out, and they found him the next day, and he did not survive the night. So it's one of those things you really want to be careful. Yeah, it's a really great shelter to create. It's a really great survival, but you got to pick and choose which ones you want. I just want to let you know that it's dangerous and it can help you at the same time. Okay, we're going to end the day today of snowshoeing. I want to thank you for joining me. Hopefully you learned something new and you got to see some beautiful scenery. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye-bye. Before I let you go, I have a question for you because I can't figure this out. And I don't think I've ever seen it before. Let's go up here. We're going to go check out. Look at these trees. Do you notice that they're red? These look like lodgepole pine. Yeah, some of them are dead. The pine beetles came through here. But I've never seen the trees turn red. I don't know, I gotta check it out. Like, look at this. Like, that is like really red. Oh, here's a good one over here. Oh, I love walking in these. This is so awesome. This is a gift. These were a gift I got. And thank you so much. These have been a lot of fun today. Okay, look at this one. You see how red it is? It's everywhere. They're all red. And then it stops. It's only in this area. And I can't imagine that somebody sprayed them. You know what I'm thinking? You know what it might be? It might be because there was a fire that came through here. Is that stuff that they spray out of like the helicopters and stuff? They dump on the forest? Is that red? I don't know. You see how it's on one side of the tree and not on the other? Okay, I'm asking my subscribers, can you help out? Do you know what that is? I'd love to know. And again, back inside there was a forest fire, so you see a lot of burnt trees. Okay, I just want to show you the fire. It feels like If you haven't done it, it feels like you're walking, well, not that I ever walked on a cloud, but it totally feels like I'm walking on a cloud. Ah. Okay, anyways, okay, a little distracted there. Look at those burnt trees. Those are all burnt. I'm starting to think it's that the forest fire chemicals that they drop. Does anybody know? Any firefighters out there? Do they know if it's red? And this was a good fire. Look at that. That was a good fire. I don't remember this fire.